Hello, everybody. I just wanted to make a quick video about debunking the hazard pay and why it's not acceptable to accept this amount. So I believe that the proposed hazard pay that there's a YouTuber named LA Late, and he's pretty good. He posts many thorough videos explaining what Congress is doing, and I really do appreciate his videos. But with that being said, I think one of the latest videos he talked about was the hazard pay, and that the hazard pay would only be $10,000. And how it works is that from January 27th, it's retroactively paid. So you make $13 per every hour that you've worked, and so for every hour you worked, you receive a 13 additional dollars per hour. But the problem is that it caps at 10,000. So I did the math before in a few of my videos, and if you actually do the math, you'll realize that if you got paid $13 an hour and you're working an average 40 hours per week, which is full time, you've already capped probably around late May or early June. So, that being said, one problem with the 10,000 is that yes, it's capped. So from June to August 1st, 2nd, whichever one it is, and then beyond, you're not receiving hazard pay. Also, um, you would still make more off unemployment benefits, and the benefits from being on unemployment tremendously outweigh the hazard pay benefits. Because think about this: if you're on unemployment, you're making a flat rate of $600 for the CARES Act, and as I've said before, they're probably going to keep extending the CARES Act and all these unemployment benefits because they can't let millions of people starve, and they'll just keep printing money at the cost of someone else's expense. But also, the cost of goods and services and the standard of prices of living is going up, but essential employees are still making less. So, um, one, by being on unemployment, you make more money because you're making 600 from the CARES and then 50% from your unemployment benefits. Two, you get all this free time. So you have months and months of free time, and then they're probably just going to keep adding it. So you have 4 months plus additional more months to do things that are you can do a lot of great things. Like I know people who are going back to school, focusing on skills and education, working under the table for cash, money laundering, working on their mental health, playing video games, having fun, traveling, going on vacation, not following the quarantine rules, barbecuing, partying at the beach, having pool parties, doing all these amazing things, going on hikes, working on a garden, opening up side businesses, opening up small businesses, using skills and learning skills that transition into the future while essential employees are working harder than ever, making less, and too busy to do these kind of things while risking their health and their lives. So, um, also, the third main thing is that you don't have to risk your health. Not only the mental health of working harder than ever because you're pretty much providing for an economy that's not doing anything. You're also working harder because no one wants to go back to work. So you're doing the one job. You're doing three jobs with one manpower, and so you're working harder than ever, being stressed out, and no one cares. So, and also the C virus. So there's a bunch of pros to just being on unemployment right now, and it's just how it's going to keep being. So with that being said, I'm going to do the quick breakdown of the math. This is kind of like a low quality video. I don't even know if I'm going to do the math correctly, but this is just to give you a general idea of just the financial aspects of why it's more beneficial to be on unemployment. So, I'm going to use, I make 17 something an hour, and I don't want to use my number because it's a little confusing. So I'm going to use, I think like the average grocery clerk worker who's an essential employee makes around $10 an hour, right? So let's see, $10, and he works. He's probably working more than 40 hours a week because the grocery clerk manager can't find anyone to hire because nobody wants to go back to work. But I'm gonna just do 10 times 40, so that's $400 per week, right? Times four, that's 1,600. So you're making around $400 per week. Okay, so let's do that. 4D times 10 times 4, because there's 4 weeks in a month. Okay, so it's around 1,600. So this is all before taxes. So before taxes, a grocery store clerk who makes like $10 per hour, an essential employee working the front line, working harder than ever, risking his life. No one really cares about him. He's making $1,600 per month. This is before taxes, of course. And then someone on the CARES Act. This is just the CARES Act benefits. You're making 600 per week before taxes times 4. So you're already making 2,400 by being on unemployment. Let me see, what's the history? So that's a little bit, that's a little bit, that's almost what, a little bit less than double what the person is making on unemployment. I mean, what the essential employee. So basically, through the CARES Act, you're already making more money just by being from the flat rate of $600. Okay. Okay, so that's crazy. But let's just pretend that you're making $10 an hour in some other industry, and then you got laid off, or you got furloughed or something like that. Like my friend, his business won't open up for another 3 months from now, and he is guaranteed a job because of his sector in the industry. So he has a job, and he's still collecting the benefits and stuff. So he's making, but let's just pretend he's making $10 an hour, like our grocery clerk friend. Okay, so if he's making $10, that's times 40, so he's making 400. You divide that by 2 because you're getting 50% of your unemployment from the unemployment insurance. So you're making 200 plus the 600 from the CARES Act is 800 times 4. So you're making $3,200 per month by being on unemployment. Okay, so let's just pretend let's just pretend that they're two twin brothers. Okay, one is the essential employee grocery clerk. He's making $10 an hour. So the one brother is making $1,600, risking his life, working harder than ever in more stressful conditions, and no hazard pay, and he's making $1,600. His brother, on the other hand, is making $3,200 just by staying home all day. So, wow, that's a very big difference in the amount of money being made, right? Like, it seems like more beneficial, because the thing is that this guy is one of his brother, because he's working harder than ever. He's stressed out. He's using his free time to meditate, to find ways to cope with the harder worker conditions, the stress. He's going out, spending money on gas, food, lunch, because he doesn't have enough time or energy to make lunch for himself, because he's so busy working all the time. He has to commute to work. He has to prepare himself for work. He's buying goods and services because he's expending more, because he is on the go every single day, buying gas, utilities, and all these things. So he's spending more as well, but he's making less. And then his brother, he's making $3,200. He has all this free time to do whatever he wants. So he's going back to school. He's self-educating himself. He's working a side business. He's studying. He's playing video games. He's working on a table on the side for maybe his uncle or something like that to make some more cash. So, he's doing all these great things with his life. And while his brother's working harder than ever, and no one cares about him. So, even with the $10,000 of hazard pay, which caps at $13, you just have to consider that, right? So let's just do that real quick. So let's see. Let's see. What's the calculation for that? So if there's 40 hours in a working week for a full-time employee times 4, that's 160. So I believe that the equation we found out yesterday was 770 times 13. Yep, there we go. So if you work 770 hours times, and then you get $13 from the hazard pay, that's $10,000. The problem is that if you divide that by shucks, what was it called? So if you're working 160 times 4 times 5. Okay, so you know that there's 160, you're working around 160 hours every month, okay, because 40 times 4. So you're making maybe around like, let's see, 5.7 times 5, there we go. So in about 4 months time, a little bit, 4 months and about 3 weeks and a couple days, if you've worked from January 27th, in 4 months, a little bit around 5 months, you've already met your hazard pay threshold, which is that caps at 10,000, right? Because if you times 760 times 13, oops, fuck, that's not it, 770, right? Times 13, there we go. I don't know, I'm doing the math right, but wrong, but hopefully you can figure this out real quick if you just do it on yourself. You've already pretty much capped your limit around 5 months. So let's see, February, January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, so 5 months. In about 5 months' time, you've already capped your hazard pay if they're retroactively paying you since January. So as I've said earlier in the video, from June, July, and August, you're not receiving hazard pay after that, even though you're working. So if you just add the $10,000 to whatever you would be making, you would still make less or around the same amount. So let's do the calculation real quick. So if since we're going to use February, since January 27th is kind of a late day in the month of January. Let's just use February. So the February, let's count how many months there are until between now and August. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Oh my God, I'm so confused. Look, it's been a long day, guys, but basically, if you actually do the math, you'll figure out that you'd still make more on unemployment. Even if you were to receive $10,000 in hazard pay, in my previous video breakdowns of the calculations before tax, you would only make like I think like $300 or $400 more with the additional hazard pay. So let me ask you this: would you rather make $400 risking your life, working harder than ever, not having free time, being stressed out? Or would you rather collect $400 less than your twin brother or twin sister, being on unemployment and having more free time to do whatever you want and improve your life? I don't know. You ask me. You tell me.